are these people?
And our wonderful friend Jeff Bezos, our bald-headed friend, and no offense to our other bald-headed friends, but he's not a bald-headed friend.
As Collin
Nearly
turns
all
his camera
half
off.
of all, yes, right. Nearly half of all warehouse workers in 2021 happened in Amazon warehouses. And again, this is calling out and shout out to Chris Smalls. Again, this is another Sharon Zhang banger. She is incredible. I can't gush and revel over her stories and her article writing enough. Hey, there it is. Now I can see it. But Sharon's article reads, if a warehouse worker was injured on the job in 2021, there was about a 50% chance that they worked for Amazon, a new report highlighting dangerous working conditions that the company has revealed. Though Amazon employed only about 33% of warehouse workers in 2021, it was responsible for 49% of warehouse injuries last year, according to a damning new report from the Strategic Organizing Center, a coalition between 4 major labor unions. The report analyzes data from OSHA, the Occupational Health and Safety and Health Administration. Overall, workers sustained nearly 40,000 injuries at Amazon facilities last year. Again, shout out to Chris Smalls, who had been screaming this outside a facility in Staten Island in March of 2020, in the middle of COVID, saying they're sending us in there to get sick. They're not giving us PPE. And this represented a huge jump, even from 2020 to 2021, the injury count. So what it means is that your Prime delivery keeps ratcheting this up because Amazon's injury rate, as it says, has increased by 20% year over year. And what's Amazon doing to fix this? So despite promises to become the Earth's safest place to work, the company has shown to be quite the opposite. As the SOC's report and other analyses have found, Amazon's serious injury rate is far higher than that of other companies. Serious injuries are ones that cause the worker to miss work or be reassigned to less strenuous tasks. That's long-term disability, again, or reassignment. In 2021, the company's serious injury rate was 6.8% per 100 full-time equivalent workers, the new report found. This is more than double the serious injury rate of other warehouses, which have an average rate of 3.3 per 100 workers. With 7.7 injuries of any type per 100 Amazon workers filed with OSHA last year, Amazon's workers suffered injuries at a far higher rate than those in the rest of the industry, who experienced 4.0 injuries per 100 workers. Now, the reason for this is the way that Amazon manages their employees to the second, I believe. It's not even to the, it's more to the minute. But literally, like, they're determining and tracking how much time it takes you to walk to this.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And every time you take a break or you go pee or you this, something's monitoring you, and you have X number of packages to load. And again, Chris talks about this.
Right. And he also talks
that doesn't
about,
even count the commute. This is just what they do while you're here.
He talks about that, like, a guy can die on the floor and no one will get to him for hours upon hours upon hours, but he goes and takes a wrong break, and they'll keep
the rest of the warehouse working,
or he puts something in the wrong box or whatever. They immediately know and immediately are going to go find him and chastise him, right? I mean, this is a company that made wristbands that like vibro shock therapy you into like grabbing the right item, putting the right item in this, but it's like, if your hand does something wrong, they're gonna come like yell at you, So
again, the report's authors say that the reason for Amazon's high injury rate is that the company's strict quotas and obsession with speed, like I said, which it monitors using invasive surveillance systems to track workers' every move. It felt like I just said that.
Yeah.
The company also pushes hurt workers to keep working while they're recovering, even if the work will perpetuate the injury or make it worse. Back injuries are very common, I know. Again, musculoskeletal disorders like carpal tunnel or back pain are common among Amazon workers. Investigators have found repetitive strenuous movements place strain on workers' bodies, and symptoms often linger long after the initial injury. Now, what's interesting, and again, I don't remember if Sharon's article talks about this, but you can also talk about the drivers. And a lot of the drivers for Amazon, they don't work for Amazon. They work for third-party companies that Amazon contracts with, so they don't even need to report on exactly those, and they're not even part of the union when it happens. Okay, so companies' policies appear to have direct influence on its injury rate, which we know. While the rate increased, each year between 2017 and 2019 from 7.5 to 9 per 100 workers. The rate dropped to 6.6 in 2020, but that's the same year that the company temporarily lightened its quotas in response to the pandemic. They also had shutdowns. So, although the policies were only in place for a few months, it was long enough to have a tangible impact on the company's injury rate.
Yeah.
So, to distract from poor injury rates, and Washington State OSHA investigations into the Seattle-based company have found wrongdoing, Amazon said last year that it would be spending millions on increasing safety and that it would halve the injury rate within the next 5 years. Yet same year that the company made that pledge, the injury rate increased. So great job, guys. So, quote, the facts show that for all its public relations efforts, Amazon is not doing enough to keep workers safe, SOC authors wrote. Amazon could choose to slow the pace of work or ease the pressures of its oppressive monitoring systems. But after doing so in 2020 to accommodate pandemic safety precautions, the company largely returned to its old systems of surveillance and pressure in 2021, as reflected in the injury data. How about just listening to one of the people talk? Ask an employee being injured, of the warehouse.
Right. That might be a smart move.
Injury data.
Yeah.
How about asking a person? I think what gets lost in all of this are the people, and that's what makes me beyond crazy. So, Amazon warehouse workers have been waging union campaigns in part because of working conditions in their facilities. Workers in Bessemer, who are organizing the RWDSU and Amazon Labor Union, which recently won a union in New York, have said that improving working conditions are a central plank of their campaigns. The BHM1 unionizing facility in Alabama, the report found that serious injuries increased by a whopping 43% last year. This is while they're in the process of trying to unionize. This is what the company is telling their employees. We're ratcheting up your injuries and we're ratcheting up the pressure on you to do your job while we're telling you don't unionize right now. Well, they can't really unionize and organize if they're out because they're injured, right? I guess maybe that's a play.
That's what the New Orleans Saints do frequently. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh. Hey.
What?
Oh, yeah. The company can't afford to ease its quotas. So the company can afford to ease its quotas, SOC pointed out in the report. While its policies appeared to push workers to injury, the company's profits grew by 50% from 2020 to 21, and of course from 21.3 billion to 33.4. And Bezos himself personally gained over 52 billion in net worth during the course of the pandemic. And didn't he also get divorced and have to give half his fortune away to his wife? And he's recovered that and then some, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Also making her one of the wealthiest people in the world. And nobody's really seeing what she's doing with it. It's a nice way to kind of bury half your money.
Yep. Oh.
And again, shout out to Sharon Zhang. Solidarity with our Amazon brothers and sisters. Chris Mills, please give us a call. Derek, please give us a call. We want to talk to you. We want to get messages out there and talk to people who were working in the union, who are organizing for the union. Tell us how we on the outside can help spread the word about the union, who we can be talking to, a local even the mayor of our local town. If there's an Amazon facility, etc., is there something that we can do to call awareness and make sure that they're holding these people accountable and that the workers are actually getting fair treatment?
Well, and I think tons of people also want to know how do you start a union without any of the other union organizing organizations which you did. People want to know that.
I'd like you if you could text them, that would be amazing. We've all tried to send them DMs and we've all been reaching out and we totally understand and we love him to death. And we support him 100%. And we're not coming at this guy at all. He's had the world on his shoulders. He's had the world coming at him for 2 years, and he's finally gotten a breakthrough. And now they're going to really come hard.
Huge fucking victory against the biggest.
And the one thing we don't want is you having is them putting kid gloves on you. I want you in there. Bite down on that mouthpiece. Start swinging, homie. That's what we want.
That kind of money, I feel like we see billion tossed around a lot and don't appreciate how much that is.
Exactly how much that is.
What was it? If someone handed you
I'll check.
$1,000 every day from the time that the Pilgrims came to America and started fucking it up to now, you still wouldn't have $1 billion.
Yeah.
You still wouldn't have as much money as Jeff Bezos makes in a week.
In a week. He get
Yeah.
What's the rule? The one I remember for ending world hunger is like what, 3 billion? Right?
No, I think it's more.
No, I
than
thought it
that,
was
but-
20.
Something like that. You know,
20 billion.
I've
But
heard
that,
it a
but
few
is that
times.
forever?
If
I mean, I love.
Yeah,
those
I
numbers,
went
but
when you
is
hear that and you never
forever?
know, you know, what exactly that
Can't be
entails.
a forever number. That,
But
Right.
you know what
distribute 10
is
around the world.
attainable is it only costs $50 million to fix Flint's water.
Yeah.
That's right.
$50 million, and no one's been able to pull that out.
They could,
and
Chump
they could
change for
literally
him.
rename the fucking town Bezos.
Bezos land.
I'll rename it Bezos if you change all the pipes in that town. I'll
in 20 years, there will be a Bezos
How-
town in every fucking city in America.
Oh, of course
How
there will.
terrible.
Just you
That's
wait.
true.
How
Big
terrible
Bezos
is
Come
the
on.
situation we're in that we feel it's
He's gonna
almost
buy
easier
McDonald's.
I would eat a
Make
McBezos.
to beg fucking oligarchs. We're gonna beg oligarchs.
Eat the rich.
We're gonna beg oligarchs to fucking
JJ Bibbs exclusive.
barbecue sauce.
I'm whipping out the
Amazon.
extra viscous hickory
On the McBezos. Oh, Steve. we
and
need a
what was our new
McBezos
product?
with JJ Bibbs on it?
Industrial strength brisket caulk.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
Nice.
How what the state that the fucking country and the world is in, that like our hope is like we're gonna beg a fucking billionaire to fucking spend a fraction of the gigantic mountain of gold coin this dragon has fucking like amassed.
We're not
for itself.
behind
begging.
his ass.
We're not begging Reef. It's
Right.
called pushing him left. Okay.
Sure.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. You gotta
And
vote
that's
harder,
right.
right?
That's right.
That's what we're talking about. Like that's our savior. Like
Mhm.
we've fucked up if that's what we're doing.
Mhm.
You know, like
Mhm.
Yes. There
all those
certainly was a
fucking
miscalculation
politicians should be
somewhere.
fucking ashamed, especially the squad.
Yep.
The squad should be ashamed
Yep.
for themselves and shouldn't be
Mhm.
anywhere near this. They don't deserve this win. They weren't here. Like,
No.
you know, like they're gonna do if any
This
of them
this
don't
is
show
just
up.
to save face, because if they
Yeah.
don't exactly, then
They
people
just-
are going to
this
assume
is
they're
all
opposed, and they have to
imagery.
Let's,
This is
well, wait
yeah.
a minute. Yes, this is, and we talked about this before, and this is where I wanted to go with this. But is there more to the story, Reef? That we're going to do another.
One sec, sorry.
I
pieces
think
on
no, not
Amazon
this one.
Starbucks, I think.
There's
No, not this one. Yeah, see, this is what they're doing to the Amazon union, and that was one of the things I definitely want to talk about. But
yeah.
but what the politicians are doing, and the reason why they need to reject every politician that shows up at their door, okay, is because every single one of them makes it partisan. And this whole thing needs to be nonpartisan and needs to bring in every single worker there, regardless of what political party they're in. If you're AOC, you bring in AOC, and we're on the left, and people in our quote unquote space want to actually see her there. Now, I personally, know what happened and know that she shunned them before, and now she's trying to basically steal off their shine. But some people did think it's a good thing that she's there because it's now getting the attention. What it's going to do is it's going to make it a lightning rod that everybody on the right's going to turn against it 100%. And
Well, they're
any
already
right-winger-
trying. But Tucker already tried
Well,
to
wait.
do that.
Right, but any right winger that works in the warehouse now is against it because AOC has now made it that now she's taking ownership of it, and you don't
Yeah.
see any right wing politicians. So now this is the left trying to take ownership of this when this is about workers and this is about nonpartisan. Okay,
I didn't even think
Lucy
about
pointed
that.
out that there should be third party candidates. There should
Yeah.
be third party candidates. There should be that should be. And where are, by the way, the right wingers who are, by the way, pro worker, Mr. I'm all about the American worker, and the guys that are in the streets? Where are you for the people that are in these warehouses? okay, that just unionized. And all you did, other than the only person, to his credit, Tucker Carlson brought Chris Smalls on and tried to make it about AOC and shit on AOC and about the fact that the left backed them. Okay, let's call it for what it is. The Republicans are no friend to unions either. They're no friend to the workers. And I'll be the first one to call that out. Everybody's like, how come you only focus on Democrats? I don't. Republicans are shit too. And I'll be the first one to say
But Republicans didn't come make me big promises and didn't tell me they would fix shit for me or give me any of this stuff. So
exactly.
I don't, you know,
They're the
I
ones
don't
who
feel
aren't
obliged to
supposed
try to hold
know.
them accountable.
Right. The
No,
other ones
they're
are
just
supposed to know
bosses.
better. You're supposed to be better than the Republicans, yet we're yelling about the same things to both of you. Like,
except that half the Democrats were Republicans 6 years ago.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
but they got mad that Trump joined their party, and they're embarrassed about Trump and about all the extreme part of their party that they didn't want to own, so they just ran
lean in.
co-opted.
Blue is the new red.
Like,
yeah, oh, dude, it certainly has been. No, it's the Uniparty trademark.
Yeah,
2021 Whitney Webb.
Yeah. So you wanted to talk about this. This is what you're talking about. What happened? No one noticed except Collin. Don't worry.
I noticed.
Yeah, I was about to say what I missed.
I don't
what?
see your screen.
Because your face is on the Zoom stream.
I noticed
you guys
it on
not
7
watching the
seconds
stream.
ago.
I noticed it on
This
the
is what you
actual
missed,
stream because
Jesse.
I have both
I
screens
did a
up
whole
right now.
Jesse lean in, JB lean in, right, with the cam and whatnot.
Nice. Let that work.
But
So people
this
were
is-
watching.
so-
That's why it was a delayed reaction because
nice.
I watched it.
So
after.
everybody, so what my big concern, on top of the fact that now you're making it partisan, no matter which politician you bring in and why they need to reject every politician that walks up to the door and say, get the hell out of here. This is about the workers. This is about the people. And you guys are making it about you, and you guys are going to make it partisan, and you're going to turn off 50% of the people no matter what happens.
Yep.
Republicans will turn off Democrats. Democrats will turn off Republicans. Independents and third parties will turn off both parties. So you just need to stay the hell away from this and not make it about
just
politics
for the
at all.
record, not that the eyes of the world are on us, but just so I can state it, I am not trying to come at Chris Smalls for engaging with anybody. Because by all means, right now is the time to take any platform you can get. I will not tell Chris Smalls to stay away from AOC, but I will absolutely tell AOC to stay the fuck away from Chris Smalls.
Right?
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference there. Like you had your time, you chose not to. This is a photo op. This is saving face. Like, please don't bring your toxins around to try to water down a movement once it starts gaining steam.
Don't bring your platitudes, okay? Don't bring your image and your concern about your image and
cosplay
and
as an activist once a year. It's
these MSNBC wine moms. We don't need them. We really don't right now.
Right.
You know, there's nothing wrong with drinking wine, but when they're watching Rachel Maddow and Nicole Wallace,
I do it every morning.
Going, yeehaw! That's not our crowd right now. And they're not on the side of union workers. I can tell you, the only thing that they're on the side of is getting their Amazon Prime deliveries quick. So you tell them that they need to take care of those workers so their Amazon Prime shows up. That's how you get the wine moms on board.
Right.
Come on, AOC, let's go. That's your message. That's what we have to do. We've got to send her to AOC and tell them that they need to take care of the workers so that Amazon Prime shows up on time. And we can even rhyme that. Look at that. Jesse, I smell another lyric coming. Amazon Prime shows up on time.
Me and Collin was here last time.
You already got it.
We did our open letter to
Unionize
Chris Smalls. That was essentially, we stated pretty much everything we stated here, minus the AOC specifically. We talked about Bernie. We talked about all these people are going to try to like attach themselves to your shit, right? They're going to try to get close to you. They're going to try to bring you. They're going to bring you in to all the fancy parties, right? It's all photo ops for them, you know. Look, you were able to do
sheepdog people.
How much were you able to do without them?
People right. It's another way to sheepdog people into the Democratic Party too.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just going to be like,
right.
Oh, look, the Democratic Party is proving that they're for workers. And,
right.
And like,
they are
so,
I mean, AOC helped get to Amazon labor. It's that, right? Like they don't even notice that that's what's happening. You know,
I will say I will say this, and I probably get in trouble, but again, I don't care. But you know, I mean, there's no personally, I have no will ill towards Chris. You know, like do what you need to do, brother. You know, keep fighting a good fight and all that. And I shared you guys earlier. My concern with Chris is just who is around him. That, you know, we have these conversations that we're able to look at it from these angles where, you know, there can be more nuance as to whether to the degree of how like politicians especially should get involved. We're not entirely sure if Chris necessarily has that. And so like the idea that Chris, yeah, he went on Fox News, yeah, he gone onto the bigger, you know, independent channels. I mean, I'm not necessarily knocking that because there's a reach, you know, that Chris is able to get on those channels that necessarily us that we're able to get yet. So, you know, so I'm not necessarily knocking that per se. What I am concerned about is the people around him who may use this for their own nefarious means. And even to the point where like they're saying, oh, this is a good thing, you know, that you're connecting with AOC and all that, you know, in a way that they're just going to try and warp the movement into something that it really shouldn't be, which should be about the workers versus the personality. You know, I'm glad that Chris is saying, you know, time and time again, this is not about me. This is about the movement. This is about the people in the movement. But I am concerned that how, you know, just as Reef was saying and he was saying, you know, like that energy is just going to be sapped out, you know, so people who have no right to touch what is going on will make it about them to gain votes from people who are not really in the know about the situation in the guise of, oh, you know, the Democratic Party is pro-worker.
Well, imagine telling the establishment nothing.
That's the secret.
Imagine telling the establishment nothing, telling us everything, so that we can actually tell the people who are actually going to be in the streets anyway to what they need to do. That's what you want. You're going to get far more done in the dark than you are with them advertising you. To me, that's what I feel like. Go ahead. But yeah, I don't know. Did you want to cover this these other two bits of the story?
Yeah, I mean, so on top of what they're doing to, you know, this is the other concern is while Chris is doing his media tour, what is happening back at the warehouse to the workers? And again, I love Chris, and I want to see the entire Amazon workforce unionized. But Chris Legion, our brother who did INN News last week, one of the things that he did was a brilliant video. One of the first things I saw him do a video about was when they tried to unionize his workplace and the Teamsters came in and took control of it all and, you know, tanked it from the inside, torpedoed it, even as it was successful, because what they've done is only the first step. Unionizing and agreeing to form a union is one thing. Getting, you know, agreement on what the policies are going to be and exactly how that's presented to management and how they work with management to get that done, that's a whole other thing. So what do we see here? They're playing really dirty. And that's what I want to see. Luis Felice Leon from Labor Notes. Labor Notes does a great job of covering it from labor perspective. There's only a few that do really look at it from the worker side, but that, again, the company's built itself as the everything store, and now the Amazon is the throw everything at the union.
But you know what, though, Indy, as you're saying this, because I didn't know that, I think the way that rather than a photo op, if the squad, any one of them were like, all right, you got through this step, but obviously there's going to be a lot more that you guys need to do. Let us partner with you to help create, whether legislation or help support, you know, the following steps, or get them in touch with people that they're able to follow through with all these steps, because right now they're in baby mode right now, you know? So if the squad, any politician really is able to willing to help them do that, great. But we're not sure if that's necessarily going to be that.
Yeah.
You know, and they're still very vulnerable where, as you said, this could be torpedoed very quickly, you know, in the guise of, oh, these politicians care about what's happening, in these warehouses.
Yeah. I mean,
so before we continue, Jesse's gonna have to jet out, but we did want to.
I see what you did there.
A request. We did have a request, and we had a super ray, which is always appreciated. We're gonna steal that from Pasta and give him credit, and we're gonna have to pay him a royalty every time we do that.
That's never dying.
But
he wants it to die.
Thank you, Anna Mayers, who is one of our longtime lefty friends in the space, who's been in chats and all the different live streams that we watch. She's a longtime friend of Indie Left, longtime friend of everyone in the space. But she asked for Jesse to play a piece called Militia Intent, and we and Jesse said, hell yeah, if Anna Mayers wants it, she got it. So
she actually kind of like with what happened with the Bernie piece today, she mentioned once, like, could you do a piece about food shortage? And this was before that was in the news constantly, and that ended up being a piece on Coming of Spring called An Abundance of Scarcity. That that's again one of those that had she not asked, I wouldn't have written it. So let me grab my guitar and let's do a little Militia Intent.
Very cool. So yeah, everybody's getting like a. So not only do we get a spoken word piece, we're getting a song on top of it, which is so cool. I'm guessing Jesse at some point will probably put music behind the Bernie song too.
What's that? You got to put that in drop D?
Tune up.
He's got to put it in Dadgad real quick.
Shout out to Darlene, who's in chat, volunteer for Indie Left. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out and supporting everything that we do.
Yeah.
Solidarity with Amazon workers. And we wanna see them get respected, treated well.
Yeah. How long is this article? Not too bad. Well, I say that.
Not too bad.
I mean, like,
right? We may want to.
The guitar does not
abbreviate it.
like the basement. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Open with a little baby bow.
Yeah. Remember when you were friends?
I'll have to check. I'm pretty sure this song is either just hit its 2-year anniversary or has gone in like a couple days. We're right in that time period. The 2 years ago, I was writing all my first political records. So I think today was the day that I wrote Powder Keg. I think tomorrow might be Militia Intent, but it was all within a few weeks. So yeah, here's Militia Intent. Keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your hands. Why play civil when you enlisten of 50,000 dead? Now we know our mission, we form a militia, make Congress a prison. Why play civil when all these dead won't make you listen? What's more American than slaying your oppressors? What's more American than liberty or death first? No, I thought we were founded on abolishing the tyranny of those who would starve a village all to live empirically. And I regret that I have only one life to give for my cause now that I can see the cause so clearly. See, I want our leaders, regardless of party, to fear me. That I will pick my targets and assassinate them lyrically. That I will bring them out into the town square, hook them to the pillory and leave them there. And Hillary, I'll see you there. No, Hillary, I'll see you there. You can't keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your heads.
civil when you listen to 500,000 dead. And now we know our mission, we form a militia, make Congress a prison. Why play civil when all these dead won't make you listen? Now welcome to the fantasy of rhetoric. Welcome to the last of the free speech while we can get it. And I promise you can get it. All you corporate Democrats and second wave Confederates, GOP illusionists and neo-Nazi bureaucrats. And Stephen fucking Miller, I will see you in the aftermath. When all the laws are dust and there's just moral justice after that. And I will hunt you down through the wasteland if it comes to that. Just so I could rub you in the dirt like a cheap human Brillo pad. I could sleep fine when our beds are burning, Stephen, but I'll turn around and run into the blaze to get my pillow back. Long as I can lay my head down, I can live with that. I can deal with a little ash. See, I could feel like a little of the old me burn with the bed and the rest of my past. The old world where we all lived and we can't get back. The old world where you didn't give and you'd still get back. Where you could rake in 12 billion and give none back. Well, those days are behind us. The virus will kill all of that. Your wealth is behind us and kindness is meant for the past. Our leaders would bind us and starve us and call it a fast. A sacrament meant for their God who they garnish in cash. They feed it the poor by the hundreds, that's all that it asks. Its hunger is legion and people in need are all it will have. Our only chance is to starve it and watch as it turns on them. Can't keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your heads. Can't keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your heads. There you have it.
Wow. Yeah, it's one of my favorite. I keep trying to find the butter notes in there, you know? Like that needs some sick harmonies in there. Gotta find them. You know? Put that fucking jazz seventh somewhere in there, you know what I mean?
Right?
Like, gotta find that.
Oh my God, can you and I do like an EP of like elevator music versions of a few of my songs?
Yeah. Yeah.
That reminds me of like Rockabye Baby.
Right.
When my kids were born, literally I was playing that. Like I was playing literally like lullaby Rush songs to
Right?
Spirit Radio and Closer to the Heart.
Yeah.
Amazing that I can play.
That's awesome.
Kids had no idea, but at least I didn't have to listen to this elevator music bullshit, you know?
Yep. Like I said, I think you just need some 2-part harmonies, a little drum backbeat. You'll be all right. You know, like
and
I gotta have that.
Stay tuned. Jesse and I are gonna start doing a show soon.
Yep. Yeah, very soon.
You gotta mail me your cajon.
We're gonna do that more.
You know, that's what I need. I need one of those. I need your cojones, essentially. That's what I need. But anyway,
I knew he was asking that.
Yep.
Well, guys, yeah, I got a boogie, but
all right, bro.
Yeah,
we'll finish it up.
It's been a blast. Always.
Yep.
Have a great night.
All right.
When's your
love you guys? Thanks to everyone.
When are you guys starting the show? When's that happening?
I'm thinking first week of next month.
Okay.
Yeah, Tuesday, May 3rd is what is the target date right now.
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good to me.
I think we should kind of have as yeah. I don't see why not.
Day after my birthday.
10 p.m.
Yay.
Yeah.
10 p.m.ish. It's more a late night kind of vibe. We're all just gonna sit down and let Jesse play some tunes, and we'll do some interpretation, and we'll talk about the lyrics, and it's gonna be a great time. I can't wait. I was blown away when you asked me. So
I'm so excited.
Super excited about that.
Everyone go find Jesse Jett,
brother.
At Jesse Jett on Twitter _ in the middle.
Give the wife a kiss.
You'll find it.
I will.
Have fun.
All right, bro.
Thank you.
Good
guys.
night.
Bye, Jesse.
Bye.
All right. So
what do you want to do?
We got this story about Chris Smalls. Yeah, we got the story about Chris Smalls. I'm sorry, about the Amazon labor union and how they're being screwed with now by Amazon and what Amazon's pulling and some of the crap that they're pulling.
I had to switch to
Labor Notes has a good article about that. I also had shared an article about Here you go. There we go. Perfect. Wait, I don't see it up on
Yep.
your
It's
screen.
here.
I'm seeing OBS.
And
There we go.
then you want
They're
this
playing
one.
really dirty. Yeah, that's the one I want to see. Exactly. So Amazon lashes back in Staten Island warehouse.
Yeah.
And it's at the companies build themselves as the everything store, and now Amazon is to throw everything at them. Union Buster, what a surprise! Trying every trick in the playbook to throttle worker organizing at its Staten Island warehouses in New York City. The union vote at its second warehouse, a neighboring sorting center known as LDJ5, is set to start April 25th. That's this week. So the company has turned its focus there now. So all those union busters that were there to union bust the 8,000 workers at JFK 8 have walked across the street and are now in our little building of 1,600 people. A visibly shaken Madeline Wesley, who works at LDJ5, told reporters at a press conference last week. They're really fighting us, and they're really playing dirty. So can you
Yes.
keep going?
Yep.
They're playing really dirty. Okay. She's the treasurer of the Amazon Labor Union. So she's reportedly blamed. Amazon has reportedly blamed her for the suicide of another worker. Which, what? Okay. She said management's been condoning bigotry to drive a wedge between workers. They're spreading racist lies about Chris Smalls, per usual. They're spreading sexist lies about her, trying to undermine her authority as a young woman involved with the union. Anti-union workers have been throwing homophobic slurs at her, and it's a war in there. What a surprise. This is one of the ways they infiltrate. So PSYOPs, okay? Amazon paid out $4.3 million last year to union-busting advertising agencies whose job is PSYOPs, lying and distorting facts to prevent workers from forming unions. And there is a link there. You can see where it says paid out. That's a link to the agency and specifically who was hired and what they did. But a campaign against a union is an assault on individuals and a war on the truth. The only way to bust a union is to lie, distort, manipulate, threaten, and always attack, wrote Martin J. Levitt, former anti-union consultant, in Confessions of a Union Buster. So this is coming from somebody who was in the belly of the beast. Tabitha Wilson was also part of the SEIU's fast food workers campaign when she worked at McDonald's. Now she works at LDJ5, and she's been with the ALU since she learned about Chris Smalls' firing during the pandemic. Again, March 2020. Amazon filed the warehouse with out-of-state has filled the warehouse with out-of-state consultants. They already know our names after only briefly meeting workers, but we don't know who they are. Yeah, because they had your name on a list, and they said that you're going to have to watch these people and watch everything they do, and make sure that they're not going to vote for the union, and if so, you're going to discourage them or make sure that they're managed out. The union supporters at Amazon include many, like Wilson, who've been part of a union before, such as former crossing guards with Ask Me. Oh, there's a hilarious commercial about Ask Me. District Council 37, building cleaners with SEIU Local 32BJ, and hospital clerical workers with 1199 SEIU. Other places got unions. Why don't y'all want unions? Said Ashley Banks, a pseudonym to protect her from company retaliation. Of course, Ashley Banks, the best daughter on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, by the way, and no relation to Courtney and Keisha. So,
I mean, Vivian's my favorite, but I feel you.
Yeah, but she's not a sister. She's not one of the daughters. I can't believe the building across from us, JFK 8, got a union. I thought it wasn't doable until now, said 18-year-old Ursula Tomasak. I don't know how long she's been working there at 18. Okay, it doesn't make sense to me that they bring people from other states and warehouses to tell us to vote no, says Memo Merlin, 22, who's leaning towards voting yes. Leaning towards vote. See, this is what propaganda does. Why are they leaning towards voting yes? Because somebody's in their ear telling them that it's actually bad for them. The company's brought in ultra-conservative union buster Rebecca Smith, as Lauren Cowie-Gurley reported in Vice. Smith wrote an anti-union propaganda book, Union Hypocrisy. She's a turncoat who trades on her Teamsters background, though what she did for the union was safety training, and reportedly her co-workers there petitioned to get her fired for incompetence. But yet she's running around saying, this is what I learned about the union.
Yeah.
One of the consultant firms advertises that it offers, quote, a team of men and women who represent bilingual, ethnic, and cultural diversity, quote unquote, that will meet with individual employees, establishing both rapport and credibility, and notes that its services will help address situations which the company's management and supervisors do not reflect the racial mix of the workforce, reported Terry Gerstein of the Harvard Law School Labor and Work-Life Program. It's funny that you mentioned this because a friend of mine actually got called into a diversity training thing this morning, and they showed him a chart, and they showed them what the executive makeup of the company was, and there's one bar, it's a bar chart, and one bar goes pretty high, and the other bar doesn't go up nearly as high, and they go through this whole thing, and they're setting it all up that don't you think there's something wrong with this kind of an imbalance? And everybody knows what's coming, what the big bar is, okay? Because it's executive leadership. So it's all white dudes. I'm like, yeah, so you're a white dude. And he's the only white dude in the meeting, by the way. So they're basically trapping him and pinning him to have this meeting to the point where he's like, yeah, by the way, so what is the percentage of the company's racial breakdown profile-wise? Does this align with that? Yeah, actually, it's within a couple of points. So what are we talking about here? Maybe it's a systemic company thing, but it's not specifically about the executive leadership. But okay, I digress. So, yeah,
they're saying this about the union, right?
I heard about today.
This is like
that's right.
a wokeness to kill the union movement. Like,
right. The company is saying that the warehouse isn't diverse enough because they don't hire enough black and brown people. Really?
Right. It's like that's their fault. That's then their fault.
Capable. But wait a minute, that's all that works. I wouldn't say all that works, but they have I guarantee you they're a lot more diverse than America is.
Yeah.
At an Amazon facility, Collin, would you agree with that?
Probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, this is again, you caused the problem.
Type, but
right. Here you go. Go ahead.
So again, despite Amazon's efforts, many workers are resisting the grip of fear. Kathleen Cole got involved with the union after she was compelled to attend a captive audience meeting. She recalled a fellow worker asking one of these meetings, if I vote for the union, could that be held against me? Could I be fired? And the union buster wouldn't answer the question. He just kept going around in circles. So I got angry because I'm like, he's intimidating this poor guy. And she stood up. Then she stood up saying, no, you cannot be fired for signing a union card. I'm not a fighting type, but that's just wrong. Yeah. To be honest with you, if they were fair and neutral in these meetings, I probably never would have gotten involved, but they aren't fair and neutral because it's worth billions of dollars in profit to them.
Yeah.
And to Jeff Bezos specifically, and to the executive board in compensation. So weighing the choice. So this reporter spoke to more than 50 workers at various shift changes over the past weekend and found many were still undecided, seeking more information. Eric Alberto, 19, said he'd make up his mind after he reads ALU's Constitution and bylaws, which are available online, to learn more about what the union stands for and its plans. Anthony Hernandez, 24. Again, these are young, they are people of color, and they are physically capable, because you can't not work at an Amazon facility warehouse and not be physically capable. All right. Anthony Hernandez is concerned about whether the union can deliver. I don't know which fact is true and which isn't. And again, that's because of the union busting. Alexandro, I am not going to mess with his last name again. 22 has been working at LDJ5 since it opened in 2020. No, it's like Shaka Middle, but again, I don't want to mess it up, and I apologize for that. Okay, but this guy had a bad experience with unions in his native Mexico, where he worked at the VW auto plant. Again, that was the union, the UAW, and union busters. But he said he would vote for the union if it would win extra pay for skilled workers like Learning Ambassador, where you can train other workers, and trailer docking and releasing, a job in the trailer yard that workers must be certified to perform. So again, what they're looking for, not only are they looking for pay, but they're also looking for advancement opportunities. They're looking for mentoring. They're looking for growth potential. Okay, so these two argue, scroll up a little bit, you just went past it, that Amazon should bump workers' pay once they take the exams and get certified to perform these roles, even if they don't get put in those roles, because they're planning to do that. They invested the time to do it. Amazon should reward them.
Yeah.
Workers want voluntary extra time and a return to 20-minute breaks, which Amazon trimmed down to 15 minutes. They're literally managing down to the 5 minutes. Unlike at JFK 8, where workers have sore and tired bodies from grueling shifts, the top grievance at the sorting center, LDJ 5, is not getting enough hours to make ends meet. I mean, they don't get enough hours, so they need more hours at the facility. Once outside the facility, after shift change, JFK 8 worker Justine Medina confirmed what I had heard about the need for more hours. You got a lot of part-time workers here that want to be full-time. They put in applications to transfer to full-time, but the bosses here, instead of letting them do that, they flooded the warehouse with part-time workers to not have to give them the sort of meager benefits that exist for full-time workers.
Yeah.
Right.
When I worked in, honestly, when I was more in in the automotive industry, in the capitalist system, I used to say all the time, why don't we hire people for 30 hours a week and say, 9 to 3, 3 to 9 shifts, you pick up better coverage and you don't have to pay benefits because you're only required at 32 hours. Now, that's an awful thing to say. And I didn't know any better at the time. I didn't realize how critical they were and et cetera. But of course, now I fight for the exact opposite on a daily basis. But everybody has to get through that point where they're educated to the, even I was propagandized and didn't realize what that truly meant. But again, another common concern revolves around ALU being too new and inexperienced to effectively negotiate a contract. And this is one of the things that I was talking about. Another way that they're going to come at the union is that they don't know how to negotiate a contract with a multi-billion-dollar, with the biggest corporation in the world. And then we explained to a lot of the unions that are in our corner. Now you have Teamsters President Sean O'Brien shaking Chris Moses' hand saying they'll give all the resources in the world. Yeah, except Chris needs to count his fingers afterwards. Okay. So basically every union is in our corner now, and there's no lack for experience, except that every union will tell you that you don't know what you're doing and that you should do it the way they did, which is completely corrupt and corporate. I'm sorry. Most of these unions have a corporate structure that pay their executives hundreds of thousands of dollars and are not accountable to the actual workers.
Yeah, it's like corporate politics.
Screwed up the Amazon union. Yeah, the Teamsters screwed up the Amazon unionization in Canada. I know that for sure. We reported on that months ago, that they were the ones that were mucking up the problem. All right, but that it's a good thing that you went past it.
Yep.
ALU's self-organized efforts are now backed by the institutional heft of the labor movement. The support will be needed to withstand Amazon's fierce opposition and arsenal of attacks. The question is, if the union decides to ignore what those other unions have to say and they're relying only on their support and defense, how long is that going to last? I don't know. I hope it lasts forever. But my feeling is they're going to side with the rich. Right. This is the company that has fought off many union drives for over the years. It expects surrender from workers and brutal repression from managers. When the communications workers and the food commercial workers were trying to organize at Amazon 2 decades ago, the company put its supervisors on high alert. Quote, if workers become anything than docile, managers were told, it was a sign that there could be union activity. They were, according to New York Times, tip-offs included hushed conversations and small group huddles breaking up in silence upon the approach of a supervisor, as well as increased complaints, growing aggressiveness, and dawdling in the bathroom. Literally, again, because they're managing them down to the 5 minutes. They're worried about bathroom break time. And if they're hanging out in the bathroom, they think they're organizing in the fucking bathrooms. That's how bad it is. They're managing them so bad and working these people so hard, they've got to organize in the bathrooms because they don't even have their own time to do it.
Right.
Because they're driving 2 and 3 hours each way to work every day.
Yep.
To get injured. Again, calling on the high rate of injuries. And we're going to skip the injury rate thing because we covered this in the other article. Safety working conditions have been prime motivators. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
And wait, the general counsel for the NLRB is asking the board to make these mandatory meetings illegal. All right. Every worker who votes yes for the union is a hero. 100%. Can you imagine standing up to one of the richest companies in the world? Yes, I can.
Yes, I can.
I do. I stand with all these people. Now, one of the other things that they've done is they've accused, Amazon has turned around and accused the NLRB of mucking around with the union itself and illegally helping and assisting the union over the company, while the NLRB is supposed to be a labor relations board that is neutral between them.
Right.
The company is saying that they're basically looking out too much for the worker and not enough for the company.
Right.
And they can use this potentially to order a revote. And that is one of the things that worries me, again, about Chris's media tour, which again is super important to raise the awareness and appreciate the fact that all these media entities are willing to have him on. The framing of it, in my opinion, has been horrible, and it has not been from a pro-worker perspective at all, for the most part. It's a pat on the head to the workers, but at the same time, it's let's keep that profit rolling, guys. And it's nice, but it's not calling light to the awful working conditions that are actually in these facilities, and that these are put in place by people who work at the executive level of this company. And they're not making that link, that these are actually people that are making that decision. And you can go and hold those people accountable and ask them, why are you doing that? And they don't ever want to do that, because that'll cost them their job. So
you ready for this one?
So yeah, this is another article from Harry Gerstein at the American Prospect about what Amazon and Starbucks don't let us know, and all the problems and all of the things that, as big corporations, all right, they're not really allowing. They're trying to control narrative, and they're trying to make sure that the general public is, through their advertising partners, through their network partners, through their mainstream media partners, crafting an image of the company that is X, that is benevolent, that is pro-American, that is pro-worker, that is pro-everybody. And we're here to be your buddy, and we're here to be your best friend, right?
Yeah.
But that's not what's going on here. So now I'm seeing your other screen. So what Amazon and Starbucks don't let us know is that there are gaping holes in what the law requires employers to reveal about their campaigns to keep their workers from unionizing. And again, this is more union busting stuff.
Yeah. Here, I'll make it a little bigger.
And so again, this is a really long article, if I remember correctly. I don't want to go through all of this, because we've been talking a lot about what these guys are doing.
Yeah.
But number one, it's calling on the NLRB from Amazon and trying to decertify the union already. Number two is messing with the hours and putting managers into meetings and around the union organizers to the point where it makes it difficult for them to have conversations with their coworkers about what's next and what to do with the union.
Well, here, I'll take it and I'll put it in chat.
Then they came at Chris.
Yeah.
Then they came at Chris. And they said that he was, or somebody in the union leadership, but I believe they directly accused Chris of offering free weed to the workers in exchange for a yes vote.
Yeah.
Can you get more reefer madness, dog whistly, racist nonsense?
You can,
Man,
but
the way
fuck 'em
this
if
is,
they do.
oh yeah, by the way, let's remember who owns the Washington Post again.
I think I remember vaguely someone by the name of Bezos. I think
Yes, the
Bezos.
guy who owns the facility, the guy who is the CEO of all the facilities that are trying to unionize nationwide.
That's it. That's that guy. That guy. I remember that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
So everybody just remember that.